Thoughts with Akshata, and welcome to episode number 6. Today we have a bundle of joy with us here. I met her in 2014. She was the one who interviewed me for my dance movement therapy certificate course, and from there, this journey with her, this connection with her has started. I've interacted with her on a personal level and a professional level, and she's truly the purest souls that I have met. So we welcome here today Swati. Let's start with your journey, and we would love to know what your journey has been with expressive arts.
Um, it's been fun. It's been difficult at times, and I think it continues to have that sort of up and down and that sort of a thing. I think, like with what we do, I think it's like we hear so often that people say, "Oh, I used to dance, I used to draw. Oh, as a child, I did this." I think I never stopped because it's just I think it's the most honest you can be without words. Yeah, so that to me, yeah, that's been my journey. I was a slow learner in school, so drawing was my non-judgmental space, and I continued to draw. I studied fine art after, and wasn't really my cup of tea, I think, because I felt like I through my art school and even after, when I was trying to get into the market and kind of do like exhibits and like I wouldn't name spaces, but like there are spaces in Bombay, for example, that are like that's where you're heading. But I feel like a lot of that was more for impression than expression, and I realized that I wasn't being 100% honest, and to me that stops or reduce, like it stops being art, and then it's something else that I personally wasn't interested in making a career out of, I guess. And that's when I moved to doing just more. I started doing a lot of comic strips, and to me that was honest because that was storytelling, and it just happened to be visual. And yeah, I actually tried with her, like I've tried movement therapy just for personal I think work and pleasure, and that's also been wonderful. So I think whether art or music or dance, I think storytelling is what my expressive art journey has been.
That's beautiful because, like, your
God, I
story.
talked so much suddenly.
No, that's why we are here. We want to know everything about you. And what I have noticed in your work is you put in a lot of your personal life, like your stories, into art. So for me, it's like a combination of storytelling and art put in together. So would you like to tell us something about how that has been fruitful for you?
Um, it so my introduction to visual art therapy, which then I went on to study as well, was when I was in therapy myself, and I was working through sexual abuse, and it's like I think the reason I can sit here and talk to you and not kind of either go into a shell or like bring myself to tears is because I worked through it through visuals with an amazing facilitator. And yeah, to me that has been, that was an eye opener, because if 'cause I know it works, like I know that on a very personal level, and I'm not saying it should work for everybody, and I think different things can just kind of click with different people, but I think that the important part is to try to go out and kind of experience these little like 6 hour 7 hour windows with a facilitator and figure out what works. And I hope everyone gets the chance, or gets their ass off the couch and goes and like tries this out.
Right. Yeah. And we have a few of your artwork here, which has all your personal stories. And so, how do you really, like? What is your inspiration behind putting your life into, like, putting your personal life into work, like into artwork, and how's that been for you? How's that journey been for you?
So this one of these this happens to be her favorite. I did not choose it, but I draw a lot of Gandhar and like just our stories, because again they are so true to me that I can't fake it. I don't need to kind of dress it up or anything. It's bare. It's right there. So, well, I feel like, and every single time I hit a block in terms of what I want to create or the content I'm working on, I draw stories that are real to me, and he just happens to be that big and that loved a part of my life that I can be, I can be very naked through my drawings. That's where I was going, in case you were wondering. So, and I have actually been asked this question often, about whether I feel awkward kind of sharing my life with the world, and no, because one, it's a choice. Like, I'm choosing to tell certain stories, and then certain stories I would only tell, kind of gauging the audience,
Right.
and those might be more personal, or what have you. Like, I wouldn't go and talk about religion on Facebook. It works the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where stuff like that comes from, where that particular piece is just how amazing he is, when I'm on my period, which is extremely painful, and I have hospital runs, and it's a physical pain, I guess, that I worked on through art. Because, like, just a very concrete example would be that I realized how much love I have around me when I am in pain, and I realized that only when I started drawing this particular piece.
Right.
And it's a lot. I think beyond just dealing with grief through art, whatever form of art, I think we forget to mention as therapists that it's also accepting joy that you can work on through artwork, and accepting success, and like what are considered more positive emotions. You can be more embracing of them by working on them through your art. So that's where that came from.
Wow, and that's beautiful, because that's so inspirational for me, because I've seen your art, and what has been inspirational for me is how you put yourself into every piece that you create, or every session that you facilitate, and that's been beautiful for me to witness. So thank you so much for that gift from you. So moving on, you've already mentioned expressive arts being very fruitful in your life, but can you point out just like maybe few reasons why you use expressive arts therapy?
For myself, or are you talking about
Just in general, like for yourself, for everyone, what would be your suggestions?
I think one of the reasons, in fact, the reason that I think comes before expression is kind of having a conversation with yourself, and I feel like it's wonderful. I think it's necessary. It's it's just kind of talking to yourself, but if you're talking to yourself with words, it could be a little bit weird for people in your house. And so I feel like sometimes when we go inward with the medium of like art, music,
Right.
it's honest, it's I think healthy, and that would be number one. And then of course expression and what you gain out of it. And this is something that I've heard from this poet that I really like, called Sarah Kay. Yep, you like her too. And something she said really stuck with me, where she said, I write poems, and I just write words because it's a conversation that I'm having, and maybe it's a problem that I'm trying to solve. And by the end of it, even if I don't have an answer, I still have a poem out of it. And or you do have an answer, you do get somewhere with that.
Right.
So I think it's a great way to kind of just relax. It could be at the end of the day, it could be like that's how you start your day, but it's a great conversation, I think. What else? Healing, I guess, definitely, because I think when you go through that process, there is a definite end to it for that stage. And I think that really helps, because I think conversations that kind of waver and don't find a conclusion can sometimes harm you. And I think using the arts with a facilitator, of course, or with some kind of voice, I guess, really helps wrap the process up also. So that would be reason 3.
Awesome, thank you. And out of these reasons and your experience with expressive arts, what has been one success story that you would like to share?
Such a scary word, no? I think success story would be that I've not given up. Because and I don't mean to sound like a pessimist at all. I know that it's a tiny fetus right now, this profession, and this
Yeah.
just the therapy space in India right now is just, it's not even a baby yet, and there is so much more to do, and there are some amazing people out there, you included, who are trying to really make it a way of life and not something that you kind of, you're shy and then,
Yeah.
oh, should I go for therapy or
Mhm.
not, and it's hoping, I mean, I'm hoping it goes from there to then therapy just, and it's expressive art therapy for sure, becoming just the way we eat every day, or it's great now, everyone's going to the gym or like exercising, and we're becoming a society that's focusing a lot on physical health, and I hope that spreads to the mental health
Yeah.
area as well, without shame, for sure. I think
Hmm.
that's so I think my success story is hopefully yet to come, but it's in that direction where I'm hoping the shame aspect just, we throw it out.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't need it, we don't want it.
Yeah, and
But-
you very well said that it's still to become a baby, and it's just like a fetus. And so, what do you do personally to spread the awareness of expressive arts?
I think talking about it is great.
Yeah.
Even better is encouraging people to experience it once, because I think words don't cut it sometimes. Like, even like the fact that you and I are sitting and having this conversation, I think it's great, but I know that if you and I were sitting and drawing, or you and I just put on music and danced, that would be a whole different level,
Yeah.
and different kind of communication. And so yeah, I think, and like what I try to do is encourage people to try it, and kind of the other thing with talking, with conversation, I think what I would try to do, what I do try to do, is to take the shame away, to separate it from any kind of embarrassment, or it's even the terms we use, I think they matter so much,
Yeah.
because when we say like mad or crazy, it's today, like with urban youth, or otherwise as well, just in urban areas, of course, like going crazy is like a fun thing, but I know that same word can be very sensitive in other areas, or to somebody's personal story. So I think even the terms we use, like there is a difference between therapy and therapeutic, and it's a huge difference, and
Yeah.
as a therapist you would know this.
Yeah.
And I think so, yeah, so in terms of conversation, I think using terms very delicately, kind of just focusing on what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
and then also talking about it's how, oh, so sorry, just something came up for me. I think talking about expressive arts therapy beyond the sort of rosy picture of it, because and I'm not blaming anyone, because I also started that way. I
Right.
would just say like wonderful things about the field, because it is, once you
Yeah.
experience it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But for somebody who, let's say, has never touched a crayon since first standard, maybe, or for somebody who maybe wants to dance but feels like, oh, it's not, I don't know, how do I, or people who feel body shame, like,
Yeah.
for when you're talking to these people, if I just go all out and say, oh, this is beautiful, it's wonderful, it won't stick. And instead, if I make sure I'm updating my study in and talking about research that's happening in the world, and not just India, everywhere, how it is very, very connected to our routine lives. If I'm talking about numbers, giving statistics, these things, I think, one, updating myself and then talking about it, I think spreads awareness, like,
Yeah.
brilliantly, even with cynics. And I think that's those little breakthroughs, yeah, that could make a great success story.
Awesome. I've not like thought about it from that point of view of being really mindful with words, but yeah, thank you for adding that in and taking all these things into consideration. Where do you see expressive arts therapy in the next 5 years in India?
I hope it becomes a baby. I hope it gets there. I hope. I hope it doesn't remain this thing that kids can try it, but it's not for adults. That's
Yeah.
another like really weird idea that's attached to. I'm not sure how it works with dance therapy. I'm sure you can like talk more about that.
Yeah, it's I think a gentle art thing. Like it's meant
Right.
for kids.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So with visual art therapy, I've noticed this idea a lot, where it's like, oh, बच्चों के लिए है. Like it's not for everybody. It's
Yeah.
not for adults, which is absolutely not true. Like I've watched 65-year-olds enjoy thoroughly
Yeah.
and take something home
Yeah.
after sessions. So I'm hoping it grows from where it is right now to becoming a more accepted, more open, more embracing, and definitely more inclusive a field where I think we cross the sort of like barriers to do with age, gender, religion for sure, just every kind of
Yeah.
barrier, and groups come together to engage in this
Yeah.
form of like
Yeah.
expressive arts.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Swati. Now is the fun part, which is the rapid fire round.
Not so rapid, was I?
Okay, so
I feel like such a celebrity. I think we
awesome.
should have these
Like-
therapist interviews all the time. Like artist interviews.
well, yes, maybe
Yes.
soon. The second round comes in soon.
Okay.
But you have to give us the first word that comes to your mind and your body and your soul. Okay.
Can it be a sound?
It can be a sound too. Okay, and it can be a movement. It can be anything basically. So here is your first question. What is that one thing that makes you the facilitator that you are today?
Sound for you. Honesty, I think.
Honesty. Okay. What is that one reaction that you get from people when you tell them what you do? It's rapid fire. I have to be like that.
Consistent reaction has been kya? Like, nahi, hobby nahi, profession, what do you do for a living? That's what I get.
Oh,
a lot,
that's
yeah.
new. Like hobby. Like, oh.
hobby.
Okay. The third one. Are you ready for this?
Sure. I'm not rapid, but I'm ready.
What is that one go-to art form?
What quote?
Go-to art
Okay, good art form. Good visual art for sure.
Visual art.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a longish answer for this though.
Yes.
One of the things that my mentor said to me, one of the first things, was after the introductions, like where the group introduced themselves, and she said, "Oh, you're an artist. Damn it, it is difficult. It's so much more difficult to work with artists when it's a therapeutic setting," and that's true. Which is why I think when I'm working on kind of just inward journey, I like to use really raw, really. I'm not picky about what colors I'm
Right.
using. I just have like this bunch of crayons, and because it's not about creating a beautiful piece of art, it's about speaking and through those colors or whatever that is, or just a piece of charcoal is
Yeah.
fine. So yeah.
Awesome.
So I think broken crayons are like my go-to art material for visual art.
We don't really have broken crayons here. But the
Break
next thing I would like you to do is maybe you can draw and okay, let's stick to what you do the best. Okay. So I'm going to offer you this piece of paper and I want you to maybe draw something or make a symbol and express how or what you feel about expressive arts.
Sure.
And these are your crayons.
Do I have a time limit?
Not really,
I
but
should have one because you'll be sitting here till evening. And do you want to draw with me?
maybe you can just like start off and I'll join it.
Let's have a conversation then on paper.
This is
See,
your
this is me encouraging everyone to
For
like,
sure.
to like.
And we
here you
can
go.
do this after. This is your expression
but
about
I
expressive
had,
arts.
but I'm in this with you. So.
to show it, or would you like to say something about it?
I think we said what we had to. This is one of my favorite icebreakers with groups as well, where you're just conversing on paper without words, and I think you just let go of your inhibitions, and I mean, I hope we do.
Yeah. And thank you so much for getting me involved into your art here and your expression. And thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing
Feels so
your
special.
experience and your journey with us, because it's truly been special. So here we are with her journey, and that was beautiful to hear. And thank you so much once again, Swati.
Thank you.
And wait and keep watching, and we're going to have many more conversations with many more people. So stay in tune when we come back with our episode number 7.
I have a question though.
Yes.
When are you going to share your like,
Okay.
because I have the same questions for you, because it would be so interesting to know your take on things.
A week?
We can do it right now. Like,
No,
I'm
we're
good,
not
I have
doing this
the time.
right. We are not doing this right now. We will be getting to shoot something on for everyone who is a part of Starlink and who have been involved into the process of really going out and like talking to different people. So stay tuned for that as well.
Okay.
But thank you for bringing this up, because everybody has asked me the same question, but behind the scenes, you were bold enough
Okay,
to ask me
let's
on
do this.
camera. So yeah, we are getting there. We are getting there.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you.